Q4 is unarguably one of the most lucrative times for Amazon sellers. Last year, I just read that there was a 9% increase in sales in Q4. And really, it all boils down to planning. And when it comes to planning, there's two key areas in which planning is of utmost importance: advertising and inventory management. I've got a very special guest here with me from Turnkey Productions, and she is going to go through essentially what planning you need to do as an Amazon seller for Q4. For anyone new, my name is Hiba Weber. I am the founder and CEO of SellerMobile. SellerMobile is an order management software for Amazon sellers. We focus on helping sellers identify gaps in profitability through our custom dashboards. We automate requests for product reviews and repricing, and most importantly, we optimize the way sellers manage their inventory. Jenna Lieber, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I am really excited to see what you have to share. And I just realized I'm not sharing my screen, so it's shared now.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So we'll go ahead, dive into it. So yes, I am Jenna from Turnkey Product Management. Let's see. Okay, perfect. We've got it going on now. So I am Jenna from Turnkey Product Management, and I'm here to talk to you guys today just about Q4 strategies for 2022. So a couple of things going on that are a bit different this quarter 4. So the first thing is Amazon is adding a new event called the Prime Fall event. In terms of when that will be, so generally speaking, from our team's experience, it appears it's going to fall about mid-October. Now, that is not confirmed by any means, but that is essentially what we are kind of seeing based on our conversations with Amazon reps. So that's just kind of something that makes this Q4 a bit different. Now, everything will continue as normal for the rest of Q4. We'll have Black Friday, Cyber Monday, as we always do. And then obviously we'll have the lead up to all of the holidays going on. So with Q4, with the addition of the new event, there is a lot to consider, a lot to keep in mind. But if you plan it out and you get everything straightened out, you're gonna be set up for success. So that's what we're gonna cover today. So the first thing that we'll go through, I don't know why it's, okay. The first thing we're going to go through is on Amazon tactics. Okay. These are super important because if you're not taking advantage of what Amazon is giving you, you're really, really missing out on opportunities. Okay. So here are some promotional options just to kind of get the ball rolling here. So the first would obviously be lightning deals and 7-day deals. Now, at this point in the game, most likely you are not going to see any Black Friday or Cyber Monday offerings happening for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Duh, I already said that. So those have already gone, but it's still a really great promotion for the month of December, right? So the month of December, those deals should start to actually pop up soon, where you guys will be able to book those deals. Now, in terms of what are the rules when moving forward with a lightning deal or 7-day deal. So 7-day deals, honestly, I don't have very many rules. If it's a holiday weekend, we might avoid it. So like, for example, Labor Day weekend, I wouldn't run a 7-day deal just because people are out. Most times you're not going to really strike there, but that's really the only rule I can think of. And that really doesn't apply to December. So if you guys get a December 7-day deal as an option, book it. It's worth the money. It's worth the time. Just do it. It's going to get you that additional exposure. Now, lightning deals, we have a bit different rules on here at Turnkey. So for those of you that don't know, lightning deals were extended. They are now 12 hours as opposed to 6. Which is really great because it gives you more bang for your buck in terms of paying for these deals, which are obviously an additional price. So here are the rules that we focus on here at Turnkey. So if we get a deal that is starting before 5 a.m. Pacific time, we generally pass on that deal. The reason why is, yes, it's 8 a.m. in New York, but it's 5 a.m. in LA. You're not going to get a ton of buyers, right? realistically. So what we try to shoot for is hopefully a deal starting between 6 and 9, because what that's going to do is that's going to run between 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific time. We feel like that's a really nice big buying pool. We think that's a great opportunity. We would move forward with that. So that would be our recommendation, is just paying attention to the buying times, making sure they fall within a reasonable hour. Whenever you're in doubt, I want you to think of yourself as a shopper. Are you shopping at 3 a.m.? I know some of us will, but not all the time, right? It's not usually a habit. It's more of a one-off thing. Now, the other thing we keep our eye on is what day are we given, right? So generally speaking, our team likes to shoot for Monday through Thursday. That's usually kind of our broad rule, but there are clients and brands that we work with that kind of break that rule, where maybe for some reason their sales are higher on the weekends as opposed to the weekdays. Generally speaking, the weekdays seem to have higher sales for most clients, but it is important to look at it yourself. Does your brand sell more on the weekends, or do you do more sales Monday through Thursday? So that's what I want you guys to consider. So with lightning deals and 7-day deals, my vote is always book it, and we can ask questions later. Just keep track of it, see what you're given, and then you can always cancel it. You're not committed to it. Now, the second deal or opportunity for promotions would be coupon clippings. Now, coupon clippings for Prime Fall Day have come and gone. That was due last week. That being said, there are more opportunities for the Prime Fall event that we'll get into later on, actually on the next bullet. But for actually Black Friday, Cyber Monday, obviously these are still going to be open. You would just book them during the Black Friday and Cyber Monday times. Now, coupon clippings are obviously great. They have that additional exposure with the green box that's located on your listing. And then also on top of that, you have more control, right? You can say, I would like the deal to run from this day to this day. You're able to control it, as opposed to a lightning deal where you get what you get, kind of thing. Coupon clippings, you're also able to budget it out yourself, where you can say, I only want to sell this many units in terms of budget wise. So there are different things that play with coupon clippings that make it beneficial. And obviously the green checkbox helps. Now, here at Turnkey, during special events specifically, so when I talk about special events, I mean the Prime Fall event, Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Those are the ones that we're talking about right now. Prime exclusive discounts are the ones that we would recommend everyone moves forward with. The reason why is because they show up nice and big on your listing. It's a strike-through pricing for Prime members. And what it'll show is Prime Fall event will be what it shows for the upcoming event that should be coming up, hopefully October. And then on Black Friday, it'll show Black Friday deal. And then on Cyber Monday, it'll show Cyber Monday deal. It looks super good. It looks very exclusive, even though it's really not. And they're super easy to book. So for those of you guys that are listening right now, you can just go in right now, advertising Prime exclusive discount. And then when you press create a Prime exclusive discount, instead of putting a date in there for the Prime Fall event, you'll just go ahead and check off the Prime Fall event option, and Amazon will know what to do from there, adjusting the dates for those products. Now, for the Prime exclusive discount, and actually all of these promotions we're talking about, in order for them to qualify as a true deal on Amazon, a minimum percentage, 20% off must be given. So focusing on that, kind of considering that when it comes to submitting these special promotions for Amazon. But my recommendation, if it were me, Prime exclusive discount is what I would run on the day of the event. Coupon clippings are great though for the month of December, and also in between the events as well. So that's something to consider. Now, promotional codes, those are always great, but I would more so keep those two. If you want to give an influencer additional percentages off, those are a really great option. You can make those private promotions, so that way not every customer sees it when they are on your actual listing. So that's what I would recommend from a promotional standpoint. Now, obviously, there is more to Amazon than promotions, right? There are different things that are being offered that not everyone's aware of, right? So the first one would be, I'm actually going to skip down, Amazon Storefront Deals tab. So what you're able to do with the Storefront Deals tab is you're able to create a tab that's just about deals. There's actually a widget now that Amazon has created where you would basically submit all of the deals that you have going for these events. And what you would essentially do is create a storefront version, and that version would only run during the Prime Fall event or Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So that way, when you send ads to your Amazon storefront, you're able to have a special place where all of your deals are at so they can shop all deals, as opposed to hopefully finding you in the search results. So that's the first recommendation. Now, obviously, another thing you guys need to be doing is Amazon posts. Now, posts can't be scheduled for the Prime Fall event until Amazon announces the date, so just hold tight on that. But you can get them scheduled now because you know when Black Friday is, you know when Cyber Monday is. So there is no excuse to not get those scheduled. Amazon post is free exposure, guys. This shows up on your listing. This can show up on your competitors' listings, depending on the algorithm, and it looks super good on your storefront. And here's an example, actually, I have right here that I grabbed from Vital Proteins. The Amazon post is essentially Instagram within Amazon. Now, what's great about Amazon posts is that then leads to storefront followers. And once you have storefront followers, you can then participate in customer engagements. So that's the other thing. That's additional exposure on Amazon that's completely free. Customer engagements are essentially emails to your storefront followers. So this is where Amazon will have a template. You will select the products that you want to include, and Amazon will send an email on your behalf to your storefront followers. So the more storefront followers you have, the higher the exposure is. So that's why we always recommend participate in all these little things, because it does lead to the next thing, the next strategy, the next opportunity. So that's what I mean by get the storefront deals tab, participate in Amazon posts, that leads to customer engagement, right? Now, last thing I'll say, especially because it is September right now when we're recording this, November is, Black Friday is roughly 2 months away right now. A little bit more than that, but roughly 2 months away. This is the time, if you guys are struggling with your listings, that we need to be experimenting. So what I mean by that is use Amazon's A/B experiments to test out your main image, test out your title, test out your A+ content, see what is working before it's go time, before it really matters, right? So now is the time to focus on that conversion rate, test out new opportunities, see what really is doing well for your products and for your listing. So just one thing to note is this should be done not only for Black Friday and Cyber Monday, but Prime Fall event. So all of this stuff I talked about today, we want to try to roll that out for the Prime Fall event, which again, should fall mid-October. So that's what we're thinking in terms of on Amazon tactics. Now, moving on, I do want to talk about PPC planning because PPC is super important. So when it comes to PPC and DSP, there really is not a one size fits all tactic. It really depends on what category your products are in. Is your product a gift product? Is your product a repeat purchase product? Are you in the supplement space or are you in the kitchen space? Like, it really does depend on the specific category and just what Q4 means to you. So here are more the high level rules that our team internally looks at when setting up PPC and DSP tactics. So first is building off of what is currently working for you prior to Q4. So a lot of the times we'll get on calls with people and they'll say, oh, I'm going to roll out all these new campaigns for Q4. It's going to be great. Not the move. The reason why is we need to build off of what is working, right? If it's not a proven tactic, we probably shouldn't be doing it for Q4 unless it's more of a direct type of, not structure, but test that we know has a good chance of working, or at least is going to get us a lot of exposure, right? So realistically, this isn't the time to be testing. This is the time to be building off of what is currently working. Now, the other thing that we find a lot is people not watching their budgets, their bids, and they're running out of spend like halfway through the day because Amazon's traffic is up, meaning searches is up, meaning your ads are going to be clicked on a lot more. So it is really, really important to make sure that your budgets are in place, your bids are where they need to be, and you're ready to probably spend a little bit more in terms of PPC advertising. Now, what we do recommend, especially during these times, is shifting more of your budget towards sponsored brand ads. We tend to see that those ads do the best during Q4, just because it gives people some visuals, which is obviously really helpful for those that are especially buying gifts. So that's one thing we would recommend. Again, be ready to spend a bit more. Add lifestyle creatives to your sponsored brand and sponsored display campaigns to increase customer engagement. That's always super helpful. So, I mean, all in all, you really want to probably be optimizing a bit more during this time. You want to be putting a lot more attention because it's also really easy to spend quickly on things maybe you didn't want to spend on, right? So those are our high level rules in terms of PPC and DSP. Again, if you have any specific questions about your strategy, you can absolutely reach out to our team, and I'll tell you a little bit about that at the end of the presentation. Now, moving on would be external marketing. So, in terms of the direction Amazon's heading, it's really no secret that they're favoring external traffic, right? They recently, rolled out the brand bonus this year. They came out with Amazon affiliate links. They're doing Amazon attribution. They're doing so many different things that involves external. It's hard to deny that Amazon isn't rewarding that external traffic. So I do recommend using what you have at your disposal in order to really take it up a notch, to really push the boundaries and try to drive that external traffic the best of your ability. So we obviously recommend, using external tactics. So here is kind of what we would recommend. So email blasts are a big one. So if you guys have an email list that you are able to reach out to and send traffic to, highly suggest doing this, especially on the Prime Fall event day, Black Friday, and then obviously Cyber Monday. Sending that traffic over to Amazon can be incredibly beneficial. In terms of what links to use, I would recommend using Amazon attribution links or Amazon storefront links, where you're able to create a storefront tag that you could actually derive them directly to the deals tab within your store. And then from there, you can see how did they interact on the page, how many sales came from it, all of that good stuff. So any way that you can track the email blast would be incredibly beneficial and something I would recommend doing. And in addition to that, with email blasts, you guys can add on promo codes that could be additional percentages off for your customers that are obviously more VIP than those that are just landing on the listing. So that's another thing to consider. Now, the next thing would be Facebook ads as well as Google advertising. So I have them both listed there. So obviously, again, this recording is happening in September. For those of you guys that have been wondering about Google ads or Facebook ads or trying to take that jump, I feel like now is a really great time. It's very similar to what we spoke about with PPC, where Q4 isn't necessarily the time to reinvent the wheel. It's not really the time to be testing. So now would be a great time to start getting that Facebook and Google strategy. So that way, when Q4 rolls around, you're able to scale it. So it might be cutting it close with the Prime Fall event, but in terms of Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and then the lead up to the holidays, you have time to execute on it. And that's something I would absolutely recommend doing. Now, same thing with Google advertising and Facebook advertising. You would want to be using those Amazon attribution links, as well as a storefront source tag, just depending on where you want to drive the traffic. This way, you're able to gather the data that's coming in from either ad, and that can help you obviously adjust the Google ads and Facebook ads accordingly. Now, keep in mind that Amazon does not give the data directly back to Facebook or Google. So it will be important that you're doing manual optimizations as opposed to relying on Facebook and Google making more automated changes based on data. So that's something to consider. Now, the other thing I always say is organic social media posts. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, well, it doesn't get the exposure it used to. It really doesn't matter. It's free exposure. There's no reason to not just post and see, okay, can I get an additional 5 sales here? It's worth it. It's worth driving that traffic. It's worth alerting them of these special events, of these special deals, because they may not have known about it, especially the Prime Fall event that, based on where we're heading and the fact that Amazon has not announced it at this time of this recording, it is going to be, I think, a little bit of a shock to the normal consumer. So that's why I would recommend, post about it in your social media, grab that attention, because realistically, people may not know about it. And it's really important that you drive that traffic if you're going to be having a deal. Now, influencers also is really great. So if you guys have a list of influencers, I would start to have those conversations with them now. What will it take for them to post for the Prime Fall event? What will it take for them to post on Black Friday, Cyber Monday? Ask them about December. What does their calendar look like in terms of posting products then? I think now is a really great time to also research influencers to gain those relationships. So in terms of finding influencers, what our team would recommend is doing it manually. That's kind of where we've seen the most success. So what I mean by manually is going on Instagram, going on TikTok, finding those influencers that fit your niche, fit your brand, the ones that you just think long term will be a good fit for you. And then from there, I just recommend either DMing them, or you could also hopefully email them if they provided that information within their bio. So that would be the other recommendation I would give, is influencers. That can be incredibly helpful. You could also create a social media promotional code for them, which would allow you to almost create a little landing page for them where they can shop all of your products and automatically get a certain discount that you choose. Now, for influencers, I would also recommend asking them if they have an Amazon storefront, because if they do, Amazon will actually give them a percentage of sales rather than you guys doing it. So that way, it's kind of set in stone, and you're utilizing Amazon for what they're supposed to be doing. Now, obviously, I've got a list here of different external tactics, but there's so many things out there. I have one brand they're sending mailers now. They found a new way to do that. So no matter what it is, any external traffic, any external help that you can provide for these events could be incredibly beneficial, not only for the event and to drive sales, but ultimately your ranking, right? If you show out on Prime Fall event day, that's going to be great to build success off of for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Because the way Amazon's algorithm has changed, they really favor that external traffic. So when you are able to provide that traffic, it's super important that you do. Now, before I kind of sign off here, I did want to just go over some quick things to go through with you guys. So Black Friday, Cyber Monday, inventory inbound date is October 21st. To get the best results for Q4, we just highly recommend forecasting your inventory ahead of time. Have an idea of how much inventory you're going to send in. My personal recommendation, do not send in over 90 days worth of inventory. If you guys look at those IP scores, Amazon wants you right in that 30 to 90 day window. They don't want you to exceed it. They don't want you to send in a year's worth of inventory. They want it to be 90 days. So that is what you should be forecasting for. In terms of like the percentage increase and things like that our team has seen, it can really range in terms of the actual Prime Fall event, especially because it's a brand new event and we don't really know the return. You should, hopefully see between a 10% increase to a 20% increase on sales of those days. It really just depends on your brand and obviously what category it's in. So that would be my recommendation in terms of inventory. In terms of your sell-through rate, again, do not send an unnecessary inventory. If you're kind of in a space where you're like, oh, it would just be nice to have this out of the warehouse, don't do it. It's not worth it. When it comes to Amazon, just stay within that 30 to 90 day window. That's going to be your sweet spot. Better to send more shipments that are smaller than a massive shipment and overload your inventory space, because that can lead to a lot of issues. Now, one thing I'll also say, especially because you guys have time before Black Friday and Cyber Monday, is having FBM set up just in case. Amazon did send out an email, I believe last week, alerting everyone that their inventory numbers could potentially go down. And I have seen that it has gone down on a few brands. So with that in mind, and you wanting to make sure that you can sell during Q4, have FBM just set up, have a warehouse set up just in case, for whatever reason, you can't get the inventory into Amazon, you can't get it live, whatever the case may be. Have it there just in case, because it's better to have FBM than not have inventory at all. Now, Q4 is very, very stressful. And, obviously our team, we're here to help. We've got lots of Q4s under our belt. We've got lots of strategies in place, and we've got the team to help execute on it. So if that's something that you're interested in, or if you have questions on anything we discussed today, you do have access to a free breakthrough call. All you have to do is go to turnkeyproductmanagement.com/talk. But yeah, I'll hand it back over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jenna. That was really informative. I have a question. Of all the stuff, if you just want to even go back to the slide where you were talking about all the possible options, right? In terms of the slide one before, in terms of advertising and where to spend your money. Yeah, that first slide. Just back a bit. If you've got a budget, right? Obviously, everybody has a budget. No one has unlimited advertising budgets. Would you recommend kind of a little bit everywhere? Would you recommend kind of doubling down on just one or two things? And so if it's a little bit of everywhere, okay, if it's doubling down, like where do you start? Like what are key things you should be doing? I know some of them are out of your hand, but others might not be.
Great question. So it goes similar to what we talked about with PPC, like move forward with what you know. So a great example is I have a brand that I've been working with for a long time. And the entire time I've worked with them, one of their products crushes it with lightning deals, and the other product, it does awful. I don't even know why. It's a great product. It does fine on normal sales, but lightning deals don't do well for whatever reason that may be. So what I would say with that is check your data. So how do coupon clippings do for you? Because these are 60 cents per clip, right? Per redemption. So do they historically do well? If not, let's try a prime exclusive discount. This prime exclusive discount, these are free to run. There isn't an additional fee to run these. They're completely free. So if you're concerned about budget, this would be the one to move forward with. But I think, in my opinion, I wouldn't say spread it out. I would say focus on what works for you, because generally speaking, that's what's going to continue to work for you on these days in particular. So that can even be down to like not even a budget thing, but like I have brands that for coupon clippings, dollar off works better than percentage off, as an example. So, looking at the data, looking at past Black Fridays and Cyber Mondays, super important. And I think that's where, okay, if you see these are the 3 areas that do the best for you, those are where you need to focus on. You do not have to do every single one of these. It's all about where you see the most success.
Gotcha. So it's really important to understand what's worked well so you can kind of focus on that again. And then, of course, there are things that are available for specifically for Prime. I have a question. In your opinion, I know this is the first, fall Prime event that's ever happened. Do you think it's going to be a bit more diluted than the one that happened, a few months ago in the summer? Where should people have their expectations?
Such a good question. I have a few brands that are super stoked on it, very excited. And then I have other brands that are like, there's just no way this even comes close to the original Prime Day. I lean towards that. I lean towards it's probably not going to be as big as the additional Prime Day. One, because obviously this is going to come out of nowhere for consumers. Like all of us have known about it since the summer when they first announced it. But realistically, normal shoppers every day, this is new. So it's going to be kind of similar to Prime Day, right? Like originally when Prime Day came out, like back whatever, it was brand new and it kind of came out of nowhere. My other issue I have with this specific date is I think they are going to frame it as a kickoff to Q4. And I think there won't be a sense of urgency for customers, if that makes sense. So like Prime Day in the middle of July is great because okay, it's these 2 days. I got to score now or I'm not going to score until Q4 is essentially where everyone's minds are at. Like there won't be sales like this until Black Friday is essentially where everyone's thinking. So when this deal comes, which again, it's looking like mid-October, who knows? I would just assume from a customer cultural point of view, I mean, why would they? Why would they feel that rush? Why would they feel like act now? Because Black Friday is coming up in a month. Right. So that's my only issue with it. But I think it's going to be better than a normal day. Like, do not get me wrong. I do think it's going to be better than a normal day. And I do think it is worth doing all of these things. But like, if it's going to affect your Black Friday or something like that, I'm not too sure how much stock we should put in it, if that makes sense.
The only other piece that I would highlight that is, I think, so, so important, Q4 is obviously important when it comes to inventory, but this year, because of this additional event, inventory is going to be even more important. So, FBA, yes, absolutely, creating those FBA shipping orders, but for your purchase orders, making sure that you've got your supplier purchase orders well in advance, so you are not sort of waiting for them to get you the shipment. And so, and that's, SellerMobile, you can create your purchase orders right there within the software. You can plan for it in advance. And yeah, so that was my only piece. Thank you so much. This was very informative. So once again, that website is turnkeyproductmanagement.com/talk. And they can book a call with you or someone on your team to go over their specific questions. And this is a free call, correct? This is a free discovery call.
That's correct.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Jenna, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming in and talking to us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.